Welcome back to the Unacceptable News. I'm your host, Justin Bush. Where do babies come from? Today's story is about an eclipse that happened in 1991 over Mexico City and a UFO that was witnessed by many onlookers. Before we get to that case, we would like to do an update on a story that's been out on Twitter lately about Brandon Fugal. So everybody knows that Brandon Fugal is the infamous owner-operator of Skinwalker Ranch. The show is geared towards attempting to collect scientific information about the phenomena that happens in close proximity to Skinwalker Ranch. Allegedly, Brandon Fugal was brought into Congress to give a briefing on some of the scientific information that was collected by his team. Brandon Fugal says that at this congressional hearing where they were giving this scientific testimony about the phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch, Sean Kirkpatrick, who was the former head of AARO, Brandon Fugal alleges that he was told to not give any information at this hearing that was designed to convince the members that UFOs were real. He states that Sean Kirkpatrick at the time was there and was the man that interrupted him and told him not to give this information. It was alleged that Sean Kirkpatrick said that they already knew UFOs existed and there was no reason to give information that was designed to convince them that they exist. Now, the reason that this is such a big update is because Sean Kirkpatrick took a public lambasting recently when David Grush and his 40 whistleblowers apparently went to the Inspector General. Apparently Sean Kirkpatrick had interviewed at least some of them. And so the information that they had from their programs that they were a part of was allegedly given to AARO. Now, after these interviews, Sean Kirkpatrick came out and said that none of this investigation that AARO has done has found any substantive information that UFOs exist. So essentially you have the former head of AARO telling everyone that there's nothing to see here, and yet we have admission by Brandon Fugal that during this meeting he said the exact opposite. Now, he is no longer the head of AARO, so we really don't have to deal with him that much, but he's not the only one that said this about Sean Kirkpatrick. Many people have said that Mr. Kirkpatrick is hiding information. He's not releasing information that was given to him by these 40 whistleblowers that were brought in by David Grush. So that's our update for today, and we're going to move on to the 1991 UFO case. So on July 11th, 1991, over Mexico City, there was an eclipse. There were thousands of people that were outside during this eclipse, watching it, recording it, and during that event, many people videotaped what could only be described as a UFO. Now, when this evidence came out, some of the South American media actually reported on it and showed some of these videos, but a lot of the American media tried to paint this as simply Venus. American media specifically chose parts of these videos to show, to debunk, and claim that this was simply Venus during the day. But what they did was they waited till the eclipse was completely over the sun, so it was very dark outside, and then they showed this object seemingly glowing in the sky and claimed it was Venus. But if you look at any of these videos, the videos were taken before the eclipse started and then after it ended, when Venus is not visible in the daytime sky. Not only that, but originally there were 6 videos that were brought out from the public of Mexico City showing this object in the sky. It hovered in the same place for a long period of time, and it seemed to be, by most people that witnessed it, either a disc or a tube shape. Some people seem to have recorded it where it looks round, which would make sense if it was a disc on its side, and some seem to record it from a different angle that made it look more like a tic-tac shape. But later on, after these videos surfaced, it turns out that there were at least 12 people that recorded some portion of this UFO during the eclipse from miles away from each other in a city with over 1 million people. So you have at least a dozen people recording this object, and you have many thousands more that witnessed it. So we're going to show you that now.
Vamos a observar, Daniel, si eres tan amable.
Gracias, este es el video tomado por el señor Guillermo Arreguín, una persona que trabaja en televisión y que, como lo digo, estaba grabando este eclipse y descubrió este objeto extraño.
Podemos observar que está bajo las nubes, ¿verdad?
Exacto.
O sea, las nubes están sobre el objeto.
Sí, aquí él está experimentando problemas de enfoque y desenfoque, después lo pone todo en manual, la cámara, y tiene la oportunidad de tomar los puntos de referencia como las nubes.
Este es un acercamiento.
Es un acercamiento en el cual podemos apreciar, salvando desde luego la digitalización de la computadora, esa extraña forma como un domo en la cual pues se han identificado muchos de estos platos voladores. Estos objetos que estamos viendo en esta plana corresponden a no solamente uno, sino 6 videos de diferentes puntos en Ciudad de México de diferentes personas que grabaron este objeto. Este es otro de ellos, pero ya no más en la Ciudad de México. Esto ya es histórico, Jaime.
Claro.
Porque el hecho de que se grabe un mismo objeto, que es extraño, que aparentemente no es la tecnología nuestra, pero que al mismo tiempo varias personas lo pueden grabar, ya da de por sí un peso más grande a la evidencia.
Claro, y en diferentes ciudades, ¿verdad?
Y en este caso en diferentes ciudades.
Incluso presentamos anteriormente el cuadro comparativo, que se puede ver que el objeto realmente estaba con diferente cono óptico, pero siempre se veía la misma figura.
Ahora, se ha argumentado mucho por el escepticismo, este escepticismo que no acepta evidencias, que esto se trataría de una estrella o incluso Venus. Y curiosamente, y por fortuna, algunas de las tomas que se hicieron, que se empezaron a aumentar cada vez más a través de se pudo observar que en unos de ellos había estrellas. Aquí estamos viendo este cuadro comparativo en el cual el video de Puebla y el video de México nos dan el mismo tipo de objeto.
De todas formas, sería imposible que una estrella esté bajo las nubes, ¿no?
Claro, pero por fortuna, lo repito, aquí tenemos, si te percatas bien, y nuestro público que está observando el video, una estrella arriba hacia la izquierda del objeto. Ahí la vamos a ver.
Para que se vea la diferencia.
Exacto,
¿no?
lo vamos a evidenciar. Y una más. Ahora vamos a ver qué importante es este punto de referencia como una estrella. Recordemos que estamos en un eclipse, por eso las estrellas se ven. Y veamos ahora la posición de las estrellas. Ha cambiado en relación con el objeto. Es decir, que ese objeto que aparentemente es más bajo y que refleja la luz y que no es uniformemente iluminado como las estrellas, tiene movimiento propio, se desplaza en el cielo, pero está estático al mismo tiempo. Allí tenemos las dos estrellas y vemos claramente el desplazamiento. Eso es importante de analizar, porque nos revela una actitud de inteligencia, de movimiento, de autonomía de vuelo, cosa que las estrellas no tienen. Allí tenemos esta flecha que evidencia dónde se encuentran esas estrellas y vamos a encontrar esta constante en todos los diferentes videos que recibimos. Esto es de una ciudad que se llama Tepeji del Río, una tercera ciudad, y lamentablemente ha llegado tan tarde, después de tantas ediciones que se han hecho, más videos, pero que vienen a contemplar siempre el mismo objeto en diferentes ciudades.
De temperatura.
So what do you think about these UFOs over Mexico City? Do you think this was a legitimate sighting by these many thousands of people, or do you think this is just some a daytime sighting of the planet Venus? If you'd like to support our channel, go to the description or in the pinned comment down below. That's the unacceptable news. Don't like, don't subscribe, just run.